And you, if you're not presenting, would you mind pressing, would you mind going to mute? That would be really helpful for us. We don't get any feedback. Okay, can everybody see the slides there okay?
Yep.
That's great. Okay.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay. Okay. So welcome to our NCL Community of Practice, and today we're going to be focusing on co-production, and we have got a slight change to our agenda, which I'll just go through with you just now. But we have I'll do a welcome and context setting. I'm Rachel Stephen, and I am an organisational consultant from the National iThrive team. And I have Rose with me today. Rose, can I just let you...
Hi, yeah, I work really closely with Rachel as the lead for the National iThrive programme and support implementation nationally. So really, really great to be here. Thanks, Rachel.
And at the moment, we are actually commissioned by NCL as well to support the implementation of iThrive across NCL. And one of the functions of that is to run the community of practice events every 2 months, so that we can share the good practice that's going on out there and really kind of think about how we can align things to, and align our services to the Thrive framework, not just in health and not just in mental health settings, but also in all of the settings that have contact with children and young people and who support their mental health and well-being. So that's across education, across the voluntary sector, across children's services, and also areas like youth justice and community, children, young people themselves and their families. So we're going to start off with Ella Begley, and I'm so grateful to Ella. She's from BEH and she's one of the peer support coordinators, but she has taken over at very short notice from King to do this presentation. So thank you so much, Ella. And then after Ella, we have got Jane Abbott, who is the Resilient Schools Manager from Barnet, and she is going to be presenting a fantastic film that some of you may have seen, but others may have not. But it is one of the best co-produced films that I think I've ever seen. It's incredible, and I saw it, I saw it some time ago. It really stood out for me. So she's going to take us through that film and talk us through how they worked with children and young people to achieve that. And then we've got Fitzrovia Youth in Action. So we've got Andre Schott from Fitzrovia Youth in Action, and Fitzrovia Youth in Action's core business is co-production. So they do a lot of work around co-production. They do a lot of work around superior support, but they also provide training and support for organisations as well. And they have produced some amazing material. And I was looking at one of their videos today as well, which is just so powerful when you get young people in these films. Then we'll have a bit of time for questions and answers and discussion, and then we'll close. Now, just before we start as well, I wonder, I just wanted to let you know that we're going to be recording this event. If that's okay, just to let you know. So we'll put on the recording now, so that it's available to people afterwards. And we will also circulate the slides from today as well. So just in terms of a very, very brief introduction and context to this, and I'm not going to go through the overview of the Thrive framework, but just kind of thinking about why co-production is so important to the Thrive framework. The Thrive framework has a number of principles, and at the absolute core of that is children, young people's, is that, services are children, young people centered. And it's very much underpinned by the idea of shared decision making. And by shared decision making, we don't just mean paying lip service to sharing decision making and, you know, asking young people if that's what they want. We mean really shared decision making. So giving children and young people informed choices about what's available to them, what works, what doesn't work, really listening to what it is that has worked for them in the past, the type of person that they are, and what kind of help themselves and their families feel would be useful to them at the moment. So that very much sits at the core of iThrive. And we know from research that when following on from that, if that has been done well, that outcomes for children and young people are likely to be much improved. The other principle that it comes into is directly around co-production and community engagement. So enabling the whole community and building on strengths, ensuring the involvement of children, young people and families from across children, young people's views and experiences are used to support decision making. And the population is always engaged in the development and shaping of services at a strategic and operational level. And we'll talk a bit more about that in just a moment. So just thinking about what it might mean, what it might look like, and I'll leave the people that have been doing it for longest to tell you more about that. But at a one-to-one level, it's about co-producing plans with children and young people and those that know them best. So that process of really informed choice and shared decision making, where you really are working in partnership with children and young people and listening to understand what it is that would be most helpful to them, as opposed to what we maybe perceive as being helpful to them. And that's about being willing to be influenced ourselves, but also being willing to be uncomfortable, because it's sometimes a comfortable position to be the expert. But I come from a health visiting background, and prior to having children, I think I probably thought I was an expert on parenting until I had 3 of them myself, some of which are now young adults. And it's a very humbling place to be. And I now would be very doubtful of anybody who thinks they're an expert on parenting. So, so really kind of thinking about putting parents and children at the heart of the power balance, and trusting that they know what they need and they know what's best for them, and also they often know more about their condition than everybody else as well. Then co-producing policy, peer support services and ways to support other children, young people in relevant and helpful ways. And there are several parts to co-production. So there's co-design, where children, young people and their families are involved in designing services and thinking about how we shape them. There's co-decision making, which is where children and young people are involved in thinking about how we use resources, how we use funding. So they might be on boards and you know, might be engaged in making in supporting commissioning decisions. There's co-delivery, where they are actually supporting the delivery of care to their peers. That might be through peer support programs. It might be through groups. It might be through engaging and training professionals or children, young people themselves. And there's some fantastic, we were in East Cheshire recently, and we were listening to some work that's been done in schools around, and this may well be happening in NCL as well, I wouldn't be surprised, but where some schools are training their secondary school pupils to support peers. And that means thinking about safeguarding. So thinking about what happens if a peer comes to you with a problem with self-harm, what happens if a peer, you know, if you're concerned about a parent and suicide. So all of these kind of difficult decisions that we might be engaged in, we're preparing young people and children for, because actually time and time again, when we look at surveys about who children and young people like to go to with issues around mental health and well-being, they will most frequently talk about their peers. in secondary school anyway. In primary school, it's still parents. And then co-evaluation as well. So children working alongside children, young people to evaluate whether or not something has worked, whether or not the co-production's worked or not, and thinking about how we can best measure that. Okay, so I'm going to move on now, and we're going to go to the youth board, and I'm going to let them present from BEH. Are you ready to take over there?
I am, yeah. Can I check you guys
Oh,
can hear me?
yes, we can. We can. Thanks so much, Ella.
That's
That's
okay.
brilliant. Will you just tell me when you want me to change the slides?
Yeah, of course.
That's great.
So I am Ella. I'm a peer support worker on the co-production team, and I'm gonna give a little presentation about the youth board and what it does. So yeah, if you please go on the next slide. Thank you. So here are some of our members. That is made up of children and young people with lived experience of mental health services across Barnet, Enfield and Haringey. Obviously a variety of different kind of experiences, but it all comes down to lived experience within children and young people's mental health services. And yeah, go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So yeah, this is just a bit about the board. So it was formed in December 2023, so it's nearly been a year. And like I said, made up of young people with lived experience of mental health services working across Barnet, Enfield and Haringey. And we focus on implementing co-production into research and all other parts across the trust and making positive changes. I think it is, I'm going to point out that it is primarily led by the young people. They are incredibly passionate, they're incredibly involved in changing services and using their lived experience in order to do so. Sorry, it's a bit noisy in the background if you can't hear too much of that. But yeah, so I think at the start of myself and King kind of, well, not myself, I was actually a member on the youth board before I became a peer support worker, but it was sort of led by King, but now it is predominantly the young people and it makes a big difference. They're very, like I said, they're very passionate, they're very involved, and yeah, we meet roughly once a month. Yeah, go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So here are some reasons of why co-production is so important. This is from the young people themselves. I won't go through all of them because yeah, they're pretty much self-explanatory. But yeah, sorry. So yeah, I think what's a good one to point out. It is effective in getting to the heart of issues. I think because the young people have experiences within the services, they know sort of best as to what can be done, what can be implemented, what can be changed to improve it. And yeah, the young people's voices are the most important, especially when it comes to service development and service delivery. And I think already it's only been a year, but I think we have seen quite a lot of changes and improvements made. And a lot of that coming from the youth board, which is great. Yeah, go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Yes, these are some good highlights that we've done in the past year. We have educated staff members on the importance of co-production. The youth board presented at the CAMS conference and we spoke about sort of why co-production is so important. And through using the young people, I think there was a young person who gave her own lived experience of services, and I think it just made everyone listen and really take in and take on the importance of co-production. We do focus groups as well, which is when we bring in other young people in the service who have experiences, and the youth board sort of asks them questions and works with them to see how we can change it using their direct experience. And yeah, we've done a few research projects that actually presented it at the Royal College of Psychiatry in Edinburgh about the importance of co-production. And yeah, the Youth Board has been involved in a lot. And we also, if you go on to the next slide, please, we have done quite a lot of collaborative work with other professionals. For example, the North Central London waiting room. We had Frederick Peel come in and meet with the Youth Board to get a real idea of how they can sort of design the waiting room, what the young people would like to see, and they took all of it in. They developed it to how the young people wanted it to be designed, which was great. We also had Anas Pateri come in to train the young people on quality improvement, and so that was about a 6-hour session, not 6 days. My gosh, and yeah, just gotten to understand quality improvement, which was great. And we've had people come to co-produce digital solutions. I think this is just a couple things that the Youth Board has done. But yeah, I think it's very important that the young people have been so involved and people come to the Youth Board to get the young people's voices, their opinions, what they want, and they are listened to, which I think is really, really important and says quite a lot about how important the young people's voice is. And yeah, I think if you go on to the next slide, please. And oh yeah, this presentation is from a past meeting, but we can just talk about our future goals. So we are looking to launch a podcast, which will be fun. Expanding the Youth Board, we're going to try and, since the merge, we're going to try and expand it from Barnet and Harrogate to across Camden and make it the North London Youth Board, which would be great. And yeah, I'm not sure if we can create a website as such, but just trying to get ourselves known throughout the service. But yeah, I think that was it. Sorry, it was a bit rushed, but I think what this all comes down to is just how important the young people's voice is and them leading. I think them being put in like equal. I know there's a lot about equal like footing to professionals and young people. I think in the Youth Board it's very equal, and I think that helps with how passionate the young people are and how much they want to be involved and how much people listen, which is great. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, please ask, because I probably missed a whole chunks of stuff that people want to know.
Yeah, no, we've got a bit of time, so I will open it up to questions just now, actually. Jane, you've got your hand up. That was really good, by the way, Ella. And I'm amazed that you managed to just jump in here with literally you had about 10 minutes notice. We realised King was out of the country, and you just jumped in at the very last minute. So just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jane.
Hi Ella, thank you for doing that. This is so interesting, and all the work that you've all done together and really inspiring. I just wondered two things actually. When you're looking at certain aspects of mental health, and how do you all keep yourself safe as a group? So how are you supported? And secondly, are there opportunities for, say, for instance, for me to bring some of my ideas within my kind of work that I'm doing in Barnet to get some insight from the group as to if they think it's a good idea, basically?
Absolutely. So I will comment on the second question first.
Thank you.
Honestly, if you just reach out, I think there was on the slideshow, there was a email for the Youth Board, but just reach out to the email. You can email me, you can email King, and we can absolutely do that. Whatever you would like to bring with the Youth Board, please do it, because the youth will be absolutely so happy to do it. In terms of support, I think because the youth board is quite a supportive environment in itself, but it is true that it can get a bit much. There's very, very like a possibility. So myself and King do, of course, look out for our young people, let them come to us if there's anything, but that we probably could actually think about that a little bit more. But yeah, I would hope that the young people feel like they could reach out for help to myself and King, but I think we'll definitely think about how we can, if there is more support that we can get set up. But yeah, thank you for that.
Can I ask you, Ella, when I've been interested in how many children and young people, when I've been speaking to them who've been involved in co-production, have spoken about how it affects their own mental health, how it can actually be, well, I suppose it's the dopamine hit, isn't it, of helping others, of supporting others, of kind of being in service to others, if you like. So I've heard, I've heard a lot of people speaking about that, and I wonder if that's something that you and the others had experienced, or what you thought about that.
I think what is probably helpful with the youth board is because most of the members have been discharged, if not from services, from some have been in inpatient and they've been discharged. So I think they are in a much more stable position. Not that that means that they won't struggle. But I think since we have started, we haven't noticed any. Oh yeah, thanks. That's the email if you want to. But sorry, let's threw me off for a minute.
It's not come up yet for you, the mental health, but it could well do. It has the potential to.
Yeah, for sure. So again, that links back to what more support we can get for the youth board. That isn't just myself and King. But I think King always does a check-in with the young people after we've done any sort of event, any kind of project, and yeah, it's always a case of just I hope they realize they can reach out to us. But again, that's something that we will put some more thought into, I guess.
Great. Thank you so much, Ella. Any other questions just before we go to Jane? No. And I would vouch for the board as well, because you looked at what we were hoping to do is to get some resources that we can put up on the waiting room website. So we have a page for children, young people, and a page for practitioners that you can go to find resources around co-production. And we went to the board with these resources, and they were able to kind of think about them for us. And so because I think one of the interesting things that actually Andre has taught me is that you can't just pull children, young people into any old situation, into any old meeting. It has to be something that is going to be is set up and facilitated and structured in a way that is going to be possible for them to be part of. Okay, so without further ado, we will go to Jane.
Hi everyone.
Are you going to share your own slides?
I think I will, because
Okay,
I've got this
fine.
control issue. I like to be able to move them on when I want to.
No problem.
I'm just going to get it up.
Yeah.
And then I think I need to share sound, don't I, somehow?
Yes.
I don't know where I do that.
So usually you do it just before you might have to actually bring it down again, and as you go on to sharing, you might
include
see
sounds. I've got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yeah, we can.
Great. Yes, I'm Jane Abbott. I'm the Resilient Schools Programme Manager.
Jane, just 1 minute, just to say it's not on slideshow. It's
Oh, sorry.
No.
Is that better?
That's perfect.
Fab. So yeah, I'm the Resilient Schools Programme Manager and I work in public health in Barnet, and I'm also the Children, Young People Suicide Prevention Lead there. So Resilient Schools is a programme that seeks to raise awareness around mental health and thereby intervene early and prevent that escalation of poor mental health. We work really closely with our Barnet Integrated Clinical Service to support schools develop a whole school approach. And we have at the moment 84 schools. Our aim is to ensure that all schools, through our integrated clinical teams and resilient schools, all of them adopt a whole school approach in Barnet. So we offer many pathways to support, but I'm not going to go through it. We've got a big website, training, etc. And again, we send out mental health comms at points throughout the year. So as part of that whole school approach, we wanted to think about digital resilience and how we support schools to build digital resilience in children and young people. So we started signposting to lesson plans and resources. We developed a focus sheet that we sent out twice a year on digital resilience with a lot of signposting to resources, and we developed our website. But we really felt that we wanted to do a bit more than that. And I started that process of how would that look like by just informally talking to some young people I know, and they were saying, well, we don't really want a lesson, we want something else. So we started to develop these thoughts about how that might look and how we would use it. So rather than a lesson plan, we decided to have a campaign style film. Sorry, so we started with our national context. We took some research from the Child Wise Monitoring Report that we buy into every second year, and that really looks at media use, purchasing attitudes and habits and activities that young people are doing. It's a really comprehensive annual report for more than 2,000 young people between 5 and 16 complete a survey, and they carry on throughout the years as best they can. So some of our key findings was that over 50% of teens own their own tablet. 9 in 10 teenagers have their own computers. At the time, WhatsApp was the most common social networking site, and it's now replaced by TikTok, was in 2023. And you can see that most people said they have a mobile phone and they couldn't live without it. Within the slides that I've sent, there are 2 hidden for the 2024 for you to kind of compare. Then we went locally. We commissioned a local charity, Youth Realities, to carry out some research in schools. So they went into quite a few of our secondary schools. They sent out surveys to their contacts. And 91% of young people surveyed in Barnet felt that they connected to people better via technology than offline. They were honest on occasions that checking their Instagram, social medias were the highlight of their day. They were all aware of the potential risks, but also realised they needed more advice in how to sort of navigate that online world. And the top 2 concerns that came out of that research was online identity and gaming. Here are some of our casts, adding some sort of more qualitative. I like being able to share creatively, but dislike the negativity. Leon said he liked to connect with people, but disliked the ruthless online world, how it can be like that. So with those 2 pieces of research, we then put an advert out asking for people to come on board to start to think about how we were going to do this. So this is our cast here. We worked with them from the beginning, so they co-produced this from script writing, the idea, the acting, the filmmaking, and the directing. They really have owned the process right from the beginning. And so this film that I'm going to show is a standalone talking tool that you can just look at, and opens up conversations. It really looks at the unique experiences that our young people face in the online world, their unique generational challenges that they have to navigate every single day. So they attended weekly workshops over 6 months from December to May, and then they did the filming over May. So what I wanted to say about this was, I am not an expert at all in co-production. Listening to Rachel this morning made me think that maybe I had more idea of it from my previous role, where children and families within a safeguarding arena, for me, they were always at the heart of some of the decision making I made in what they wanted and what was best for them. So maybe I already had some of that experience. However, being part of this and sort of commissioning this, I found incredibly difficult at the beginning to let go of what I wanted and what I perceived to be the best thing, and let them get on with it. So I think, as you said, that idea that we're the experts, we do need to kind of let go. That's my experience of it. So we started to support the film. We researched and developed resource packs for pupils, parent and carers, staff, and staff of those supporting SEND. And this is what our original resource pack looked like. So you can see a really boring list going down the sides. We then held more focus groups with pupils and parents and staff to get their feedback for further development. And you can see that it's really changed now. So this is our front cover, and then some background, and each of these you would be able to click on to take you to your signposting. So once the film was completed and we had the resource pack, we worked with our young people to think about a launch and what that might look like. They wanted a red carpet launch event. They wanted to choose where the venue was. They had decided on food. They had complete input onto attendance, and working with them, we invited schools, local authority, voluntary sector, but most importantly, their friends and family of the cast came, and we really treated them in a way very differently. So anyone else was put in tiered seating at the back, and then we had small round tables at the very front of the stage, which was all for family and friends. And though it was reported back how special they felt, how the young people felt really valued and, you know, were shown off. And it was really a beautiful thing. And the parents so proud. They brought grandparents, they brought friends. It was a really, really special event. So here you can see, which is something that I didn't really think about at all until that day, the impact on the young people. So if you look to the left-hand picture, Leon, he is autistic, and he even struggled with the thought of coming to the launch. We worked with him to provide a separate room for him where he could decide if he wanted to come into the launch, because there was a lot of people, a lot of noise and bustle. He actually ended up spending the whole time with his family on the table, watching the film, meeting and greeting, and eventually, as you can see, stood up and participated in the Q&A that the young people had decided they wanted to do. And if you look on the bottom right, we've got Ray. She actually, at that launch event, said to the whole room that she had struggled with friendships and confidence, and she had found this process that it changed her in ways she hadn't even imagined, and she felt like she could rule the world. So for me, that was like such a great thing to hear. We then sent it out on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, uploaded it to YouTube. We've shared it with schools and different partners. We've shared it with our parent champions in Barnet, so they have it to hand. And we've also put it on our website and shared it as far as we can. And we continue to share that. We also developed a poster that we sent out to schools, and they can just click on the QR code. It will take them straight to the film and the resources. And now I just want you to listen to the fantastic work that the young people did, and I'm hoping it's going to play.
Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. It 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 changes everything. Way smarter than any mobile device has ever been. It's all in one place. It's all in one place. What do these things normally cost? It's beautifully in the palm of your hand. Is an experience that those of us that were there will never forget. Never forget. And I don't think the world will forget it either.
Days are going by, I'm reminiscing on my dreams, and I still have that one where we were chilling on the beach. Summer vibes are always good. Do you believe in what we see? Do you believe in what we see? My dreams, we used to go outside and then we buried it, sipping on this berry red. Used to call it crowns, but these days we call it berry sip. I stole a pagan speed just to
what do these things normally cost?
And drips on shy liberty, shy liberty.
A revolutionary product comes along.
Go by the love I different ways from the past that was shown. I might just dip because I go by the code. You might not believe me, but I swear on my soul. I might just dip because I go by the code. You might not believe me, but I swear on my soul.
Yeah, okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. All right, I'll see you later. Okay, love you, bye. What time do you call this?
Oh, sorry for being late. I was with Riley because she had detention.
Yeah, about that. I'm gonna need you to stop hanging out with her.
What do you mean? What's wrong with Riley?
Who the hell wants to chill with her? She moves mad and she makes us all look bad.
But
if you want to stay friends with us, just listen to my advice. It's me or her. You better choose, but if you choose her, then you've lost this forever.
all right, girls. See you at 12:30, yeah?
Okay. Oh my god, look at this guy.
Oh my god, he's actually really cute.
I know, right?
He kind of looks familiar. I think I've seen him from somewhere.
Oh my god, I took this pic from 2 years ago.
Oh my god, no you didn't.
He's gonna get my stalker now.
Okay, what you lot's talking about?
Nothing.
Okay.
Miss kept me in because I forgot my homework.
Oh, that's too bad.
I swear to God, same. With all this homework, she's gonna be the death of me.
Yeah, wouldn't be the worst thing.
Can I speak to you for a sec?
Sure. Why not?
You've been giving me this weird vibe recently, and I just wanted to clear the air. Did I do something wrong? Or...
It's simple, really. It's just you've been moving mad lately, and we don't want to be associated with that.
What? What have I done exactly?
Oh my! I don't have time for you or this. You're just dead weight.
What happens?
I just told her the truth.
What truth?
And we don't want to be associated around her energy.
Why we? I didn't remember agreeing to ditch her.
It's me or her. You better choose, but if you choose her, then you've lost this forever.
Yeah, well, you gotta choose. It's either me or her.
Wait, pause. They can't mess with the sauce. Come and mess with the sauce. No one that shoot that I score. No, they won't make no noise. He like the way that I walking. He like the way that I'm talking. He ain't exposed like the lights out in London, so I go stand up and sunset. I'm on a line.
Can I have some makeup?
No, use Mom's.
I want to see what you're chopping. It's more like with your money, honey. I call him Giovanni. Now I see what he liking. He can't mess with the sauce. No one that shoot that I score. No, they won't make no noise.
Wait, pause. 40 people want mess with the sauce.
Wait, pause. They can't mess with the sauce. Come like a chicken ball. No, they won't make no noise. Wait, pause. They can't mess with the sauce. Come like a chicken ball. Tryna feel the vibe for the fall. Wait, pause. They can't mess with the sauce. No one that shit that I score. No, they won't make no noise.
I tweak on it this year. It sounds like cool. I tweak on it this year. It sounds like cool.
Like how you talking, even if it's 5 in the morning. You sure when me my charge. You gon' wanna call me short. Say me wanna talk, but you know say me Gaza. Every time me walk, I me cause up a maza. You sure when me my charge. You gon' wanna call me short. Hey, the way you make me feel. Tell me, are you down with me tonight? Let me show you something real. If you got the time, boy, it's something more. I'm hypnotized. Why you wearing clothes that go to waste time? Why you moving, shawty? This ain't your first time. Call me shawty. Got me doing things I'll never do if you ain't here. I'm telling you.
I'm actually loving the single life, you know.
You'll never believe what I heard.
What?
The guys were talking about Bruno's new girl.
He's already seeing someone. That quick.
I know. Apparently, it's serious. He's about to take it to the next level with her.
Serious? What's she like?
I don't know her name, but apparently she has the most gorgeous hair and looks a bit like you. Oh my god. He just posted the pic with her.
Just now. Send it to me right now. Oh my god. That's Reese. That's my little sister.
We've won! Let's go! We're smashing this! What game do you want to play now?
I don't know, but I was thinking,
Yeah?
should we meet up in real life? We've been playing this game for over a year and a half now. We get on so well. I know you go to the same school as me, and plus, don't you want to do stuff outside of the screen?
I'm a bit busy at the moment.
Oh, okay. But you're always online.
Can you just leave it?
Okay, man, just thought we could be mates.
Why would I want to be friends with you? You can't even aim straight.
Hey bro, what's your expensive equipment? Are they giving you a hard time at school?
It doesn't stop.
being online is so much easier than real life.
Well, you have to put yourself out there. You say you want friends, but you have to be a friend to yourself first. And it ain't easy. But you can do it. Also, clean up your room. There's like a garbage bin.
Hey, Ryan. How's your weekend?
Riley, you've been ignoring us a lot lately. What's going on? We're here. We're your friends. We're going to head to youth club after school. You want to come?
There'll be real people there. Or just the ones online.
Yeah, I miss hanging out with you. I'm sick of being with Zach all the time.
Well, I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
It's all in our hands, this life of time that's given to us all. It gathers round each night, each morn. We watch it pass and grow. It is all in our hands, it is all in our hands. With every field and rising sea, where we can be as one. It is all in our hands, and we know the change will surely come. This life of time, it can be. It's all in our hands, it is all in our hands. Remember when we met about 3 years ago? I thought you were the realest one I've ever known. Took you into my life, I never let you go. I held you down, baby, while you treated me so cold. I gave you everything, my heart and my soul.
Yeah, so we really believe that sharing this film can lead to those opportunities for those issues to be raised and discussed between peers and carers and educators. And we think with lived experience at the heart of it, those young people have created a film which many young people will find relatable. And I do believe that Generation Verified truly demonstrates the creative skills of young people and what happens if you leave them to do their thing, you know, that power of co-production. And I'll stop sharing for any questions.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It's really such an impactful video for somebody who, you know, has teens of that age. It's just so real. Some of these topics, some of these things that they're going through are a recipe for mental health problems.
Yeah.
Any
I
questions?
did want to say, which I didn't say in the beginning, that all of the locations were in Barnet, and all of the music was local Barnet resident young people that created all the background music as well.
Any questions or comments from anybody? Sinclair, you're first.
Oh yeah, I tried to get in there first. That was fantastic, fantastic, and that is the best short film that I've seen. tackling that topic.
Thank you.
Homegrown talent got to the point, the way in which it was produced, the young people's ability to tell the story in a way which is not just child friendly, but as an adult, I was able to immerse myself in the characters and remember, oh yeah, I remember being that age and those stages and phases of going, the friendships, social interactions, the losses, the gains, the old friends, the new friends, the expectations, the choices that you had to make about, is this something that goes with my moral or ethical compass? Is there something about this that, no, I think I won't go that way? It was wonderful. I could go on. It was wonderful.
Thank you. I think I get very emotional every time I watch it because of those young people and what they've achieved, because I couldn't have achieved that in any kind of way. I would have added a whole more detail and a bit more of this and a bit more of that, but they kept it, these underlying messages all the way through that they knew other young people would understand. I'm just sure of it.
Brilliant.
Thank you though, Sinclair.
I just want to just thank everybody for their participation in that. And I'm glad that I'm here today to witness that, and I hope that I can. Will we, in terms of that film, in terms of the legalities around other people being able to show that to people, is there something that we need to do? Is there a legal thing that says that we can't show it outside of a certain circle?
I mean, it's uploaded onto YouTube, so
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And it'd be helpful, Jamie, if you could just send me the link out, or send everybody the link so that I can show that to some of my staff, and then they can then show that to some of their young people.
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Sinclair. Victoria. Vicky.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is very powerful. It reminds me of some work that I was involved with when I was at the Tavistock, where we'd made a similar film with young people about the dangers of gang involvement. And I think it is certainly, I think, you know, Sinclair said it a bit, we remember all those sort of traumas of adolescence but the thing about social media, I think, is that it makes it so inescapable. You know, it was, you had it at school or with your peers, and you could leave it in, but you can't now. And I think certainly, you know, a bit like Rachel, I have a teenage son, so I am aware of this issue of being able to relate a lot better through, and I don't think the pandemic helped that, in the sense that they became even more focused on social media. But it also, and I suppose it made me think, and probably Jane, because of your role, of how, you know, there was all that thing in the media recently about that young man that killed himself in Oxford because he'd been cancelled. And I suppose it's about, you know, and everybody saying, you know, as if it was a revelation, whereas actually films like this sort of show that actually it isn't such an unusual thing. It's just that it can be really destructive and lead to some terrible consequences. And I think it is really, it's not that these things haven't been around, it's how they manifest themselves and the experience of the young people, and how we need to be aware, because of course there's always a generation gap and we don't know. And you know, as I said, from a psychological point of view, the thing for me is it's just so inescapable now. It seems that it becomes really such a pervasive thing that you're either popular, you're not, what group are you in, and it's not something that you can easily escape if that phone is so important to you.
Michael.
Hi there. Thanks very much, Jane, for sharing. What I really liked about it was that, and it's something that's so difficult and so pervasive within social media, but actually culture at the moment, that what the film didn't do was have goodies and baddies. It was a little bit more nuanced, and somebody who did something outrageous also did something kind of quite courageous and supportive, so it was a little bit more nuanced, and it escapes from this idea that you're either good or you're bad. Um, but I suppose I was thinking about, and I'm really interested to know, I think that's a lesson that really there is a drive, particularly within social media, that it's either like or there isn't that nuance, and there is that sense of you're either a victim or you're a perpetrator, but not something in between or both, which is the messy reality of life. I'm very curious if you've had sort of feedback and how young people, because my as I was watching it, I was thinking, I wonder how some people, perhaps the people who need it most, might relate to or see that, because they might identify themselves either with one and then very much disidentify from other, whatever that other might be, and whether there's a risk of it being dismissed. That's not for us, that's for them, not for me. What's been your experience? I'd also love to hear, if I'm not, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Ella, what from a youth board sort of view, how might that be received? But Jane, if any feedback you've had from young people and schools in particular, and who sort of accept it or not. Thanks.
So we've had really informal feedback. What we haven't managed to do yet is really kind of cement it into a school curriculum. And actually that's more from our side, that we didn't have as much capacity almost immediately after to really launch the film. So that is now part of what Resilient Schools is asking schools to do as part of their way to get the Resilient Schools kite mark. One of the pieces of work they would do is the digital resilience piece, and that would be the film. So it'll be interesting to get more feedback when that, within the sort of next sort of 6 months to a year. But informally, we've had a lot of really positive feedback, mainly from parents through Parent Champions and through other parents, about how they have used it to sit with their child and talk and just open a conversation. But we haven't actually got substantial feedback yet. The plan is to get that feedback once we relaunch it in a more sort of strategic way, if you like. Yeah, sorry, I can't be more helpful.
Thanks, Jane. Ella, Michael, I know you wanted to ask Ella. Ella, have you got any thoughts on that, or?
Sorry, could I just confirm thoughts about
Have the youth board seen that film? Not yet.
But after seeing that, I definitely want to show the youth board that, because I think they would absolutely love it, because I think it's really good as well, because I know obviously the young people were acting, but I imagine a lot of it wasn't acting. It's probably they've had that experience, so I think it's really important for people to be kind of aware of that, and so I will definitely share it with them, and maybe that's even something we can link up.
That would be great, Ella. To talk to you about that. And as you say, none of them are actors or anything. Some of them have never done anything like this. But as I said at the beginning, it was co-produced from the very start. So they decided, they had an overview of kind of what had come out of the local research. So they decided how they were going to put that across based on their own experiences and what they felt, their friends would want to see. So this, right from the beginning, they started to write that script with youth realities to see what that would look like.
Thanks, Jane. Let's have one more, and then we'll go to Fitzrovia Youth in Action. Christopher.
Thank you, Rachel. I just wanted to. Well, I thought the film was excellent and really interesting. And I just wanted to mention that last week I went to the Herodian School in Barnet, in Barnes, and saw a film musical performance called Super Connected, which was about screen addiction. And that was really interesting. And lots of health professionals and teachers, as well as theatre folk, were kind of invited to come and view this. And apparently it was produced partly at the in Camden's. I'm forgetting the name of the Roundhouse in Camden, with young people and their experiences of screen addiction and how that can be very isolating and break down families and be a very destructive force, and cause people not to leave, be a factor in people not leaving their bedrooms. And this was Tim Arnold, who is super connected, and Tim Arnold did the music and young people did the video. And he brought in people like Stephen Fry to do the voiceover. But the point I wanted to make is just how exciting it is to kind of take well-being and psychological support out of the clinic room and into the community, and to kind of put it into a context and an arena that is so much more palatable and acceptable, and also interesting for young people to engage in. And I don't know if Ella's aware of. Sorry, I'm recovering from fever. I don't know if Ella's aware of the film Super Connected, which was with the music of Tim Arnold. It's not particularly to my taste. I think the music in this film was much better. But yeah, it's just linking up all these different kind of social prescriptions and art, community theatre, poetry, performance. I think is just really a great opportunity for everybody. Thank you.
Christopher, can that be accessed, or is it not at that stage yet?
I find out because it's
brilliant.
It's out there. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Tim Arnold. Right. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to Fitzrovia Youth in Action and Andre. And Andre, do you want me to share your slides, or what would be easiest for you?
I think I'll try it myself, actually.
Okay.
Because there's quite a few of them. I want to fly through some of them. So that's
fine.
okay. I'll go on to screen sharing now. Great. So hi everyone. My name's Andre Schott. I'm here with my colleague Dave Wong. We're from Fitzrovia Youth in Action, and we're all about social action. So we specialise in supporting young people in Camden and more recently in Westminster to really run their own social action projects around issues they're passionate about, and try to give them as much sort of space as possible to be creative and make decisions and actually deliver projects themselves. Last year, we worked with 52 cohorts, so 52 groups of young people. Altogether, 721 young people were involved in sort of planning and delivering these programs. Typically, our projects last for around 10 to 12 or 14 weeks. Most young people we work with like to work in a sort of more condensed time scale, so that they work on the project and they know when the project will finish. So that straight away, that's one of the lessons that we've learned over the years, is not to make the projects go for too long. If it's like a 6-month engagement, you're going to get much less sort of retention rate. And group work is important. I will come to that. So we work in groups. We support young people in groups to plan a project from beginning to end, give them training, and then they'll deliver the projects themselves. 75% of young people we work with come from Black and ethnic minority backgrounds, and 45% of young people we work with have lived experiences of various challenges, such as special educational needs or mental health problems, or a range of other challenges. We work across 3 different strands, which is peer support, young people supporting each other; place-based social action, that's young people doing social action projects, run them in their communities; and system change, which is working with professionals or strategists to kind of improve the way services are delivered, or try to think of a way in which problems can be addressed. And more recently, our thinking is kind of shifting a bit, and we're trying to, within each of our programs, look for opportunities where there might be elements of all three strands. Our most popular strand by far really is our peer support strand. It's one that we are very lucky in London Borough of Camden that we run in very close partnership with the local authorities, with the health authorities. We're very much part of the CAM strategy, and our peer support work is really part of the preventative strategy in Camden. So I think that's quite progressive thinking, where we're thinking about how can young people play a leading role in spreading awareness, in supporting each other as part of the preventative strategy to kind of stop things from getting worse, or signpost young people and make them aware of where to go for more support. Peer mentoring is started off as a one-to-one mentoring, and very soon we found out that actually the people that benefit most are the mentors. It's the act on having the responsibility and being recognized for helping each other and supporting others. That's what's actually most beneficial. So the vast majority of our peer mentoring work is actually delivered as peer support work, sort of group mentoring work, where young people take it in turns to mentor each other rather than to be a designated mentor and mentee. Although, in some settings, like some of the schools we work with, that is the case. We get all the school children mentoring younger ones. But on the whole, the being a mentor is the most rewarding aspect for the young people. The other side of our peer support work is peer education. So young people, they choose a topic, and then they kind of think of an issue that they're concerned about and how they want to spread awareness, or how they want to get a word out about a certain issue. So last year, you see some of the stats there. We had 12 different groups of young people. Typically, they each made a film. Quite similar to the one we saw, maybe not as long, but they'll make a film, and then they'll plan a workshop, and then they'll deliver the film with the workshop in their setting, so in their school, or in their youth club, or other agencies we work with. And social prescribing is something we found recently is a great add-on to our social action work. So some young people, they're isolated, they haven't got the confidence, they would greatly benefit from group work, but they're maybe not really sort of that confident to access group work or access other activities that might benefit them. And what we do is we employ sort of young youth work type young people or young adults, and they'll sort of meet up with a young person who gets referred to us. They'll do some sessions, build their confidence, take them to an activity that benefits them, and really help them access group work. And we've got some great examples of young people via the social prescribing who are able to go from the one-to-one into the group support work with us. The other strand is place-based social action. And like I said before, this is all about young people deciding what activities would be fun, what they would like to get involved with, what would others like to get involved with, how should we deliver that, how can we communicate that. And obviously, you can imagine things like festivals, street parties, community events with music, food is something that young people really love doing. And each year we organise at least 4 large events attended by hundreds of other people, and everything's delivered by young people. No adults allowed on stage is one of our mottos, and all the stewarding from setting up to packing up is done by young people. And also in recent years, we've been doing some more hyper-local, sort of real estate-based social action projects where young people work with local residents to address very local issues, fly tipping spaces, safety issues. We had a really good project where young people identified the hotspots, crime hotspots in an estate with local residents, and trained police, trained youth workers, trained caretakers, and all sorts of local professionals, how there could be active bystanders if they witness conflict, how they can actually intervene and maybe get involved in a safe way and communicate, and what to do in the aftermath of a violent incident. And so far, over 90 professionals have been trained by our young people in that. And then finally, I mentioned it's system change. So that's really looking at specific issues and linking young people with decision makers or service providers, and sort of them working together at crucial touch points in making changes. One's a very interesting program which we're running with the Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust, which is CAMS to Community, which is young people who've been through the CAMS services, together with the CAMS, co-producing what peer support within a CAMS setting could look like, and how best young people can be supported during and after CAMS, and as they leave CAMS, transitioning rather than just finishing the CAMS and that's it, actually sort of exiting and smoothing into a peer support program, which I think has got huge potential and aligns so well with the whole I Thrive program, and that's an exciting project to watch out for. And last year we made 36 films with young people on a whole range of issues. What's interesting is we look at the outcome. We measure that with the Schweppes, the mental health scale, and LEQ for the sense of belonging and skills development. Is that across the social action program? So not necessarily looking at thinking that peer support is going to give you the best sort of mental health outcomes. What we're finding is across the social action programs, consistently young people are improving their mental health. 75%, according to the scale, improve their mental health, greater sense of belonging, and increased skills. But maybe more importantly, when we talk about co-production, is actually what the young people want to get out of it. We know why we want to organize these projects, but what makes young people get involved? How are we able to get such a high proportion of young people with maybe, a lot of problems going on in their lives? How do we get those types of young people involved in social action programs? And I think one of the main reasons what we do, why we do it, is we do run focus groups and we ask young people, and being clear, finding out from them why they want to get involved. And the number one reason really why young people want to get involved is, to be honest, is to have fun, is to make friends, to have opportunities for social interaction, to improve their social confidence, and to get skills, things they could put onto their CVs, and certificates is what young people really like. And the other thing that's interesting is we kind of like to ask our people, okay, why did you get involved with us? When we came to your school or we came to your agency and we tried to recruit you, what actually made you join? And what they very often tell us is the youth worker who came to see us, they looked like us, they spoke like us. We could sort of identify with them. So that's I think another kind of key reason. But knowing these motivations is how we recruit young people. That's how we pitch the project. So we don't necessarily go to them, oh, who wants to get involved with a project to improve mental health or improve whatever services. It is really about going and looking at getting involved with a fun project, make friends, put stuff on your CV. Those are the key things that we tell them. And of course, it benefits the community. So the other thing is, we ask young people, okay, what made you stay involved? And what was interesting is that while they initially would have come for things that had to do with, gaining skills, things for on their CV, sort of more like external factors, once they got involved, what made them stay, so actually the retention, was that they were really appreciating the kind of the validation they were getting and the sense of satisfaction of having that responsibility and being appreciated, their leadership skills being appreciated. They start to care more about the project, and that sense of achievement is what's making them stay. Of course, we need to know how young people like to be engaged. And what is very clear is that what they like with us is the informal, the sort of practical approach. It's completely different from being at school, not having the teacher relationship, or maybe some of the relationships they are used to with professionals around being sort of treated for their problems, if you like. When they come to us, what they very much like, and often for the first time, they're suddenly the expert. The thing where they're normally having meetings talking about their problems, and when they get involved with the social action program, they've got all this experience and now they are the expert. They know how to describe what it's like to somebody else. They know what it feels like. So they're in this great position to be able to help other young people or talk to service providers or, think of ways in which to best communicate that. They like being part of a group. And obviously group work is so important for young people growing up. Group work is, it's an essential part of growing up. And it's also something that it makes it fun. Young people like the youth-led aspect of the work. It gives credibility. It makes sure things are communicated in the way that they like. It means the activities they get involved with are fun activities. It means they're shaped by young people and they're kind of delivered in a way. And the whole program itself, so not just the social action project at the end of it, but the way the social action project's being delivered, it's been co-designed by young people. We get young people to review the programs. We get feedback at the end. Our ambassadors every year, they do a peer review of the projects and they talk to young people involved in our social action programs and we make recommendations. So the model itself is being shaped constantly by young people. Peer-to-peer work, we spoke about it earlier, is so important, isn't it? And we ask young people every year, we do surveys, all the young people take part in the workshops that our peer educators deliver. They fill in sort of survey forms, so that's roughly 1,000 young people a year, and year upon year, the answer is the same. Where do you go for advice and information? And young people are far, far more likely to go to another person for advice and support than they're going to an adult or you know, any other form of support. And young people clearly say they like to learn from people their own age. So that's a big rationale for our work. Peer-to-peer work is, of course, also can be more effective. If you get young people to co-design, co-deliver services, you're going to reach young people in a much better way. You're going to engage young people. Interesting, recently we're doing some work with planning, Camden Planning, and obviously young people are probably right at the bottom of the list to give any feedback on planning, planning applications. And they commissioned us, and we got a group of young people to design like what would engagement look like with young people in the estate about planned developments for the estate. And young people, they designed sort of different sort of fun games and a chocolate hunt. And we got some money. We've got this great sort of interactive activity in the middle of the estate, and to take part, young people were surveying other young people, and we got 69 young people or 62 young people to deliver feedback on this planning application. Camden planners had never seen anything like it. They couldn't believe it, and that's like an interesting little example of how peer-to-peer can be more effective. So I'm going to show you a short film where we're going to get some feedback from one of our young people involved in our peer education and peer support programs. So fingers crossed.
When people think about people with special needs, they think they're slow, they're like small like groups, and they don't know how to do anything, and they're just like a strain on their family. But that's not true. I have ADHD. I'm dyslexic. I also have some like special like needs, like for example like sensory needs. I grew up like in like an education system where we were put into like small groups and we were laughed at by other kids in our like year group. Like when special like visitors came, they didn't really talk to us. We were just like hidden, and that's like how some of us felt. And so when I came here to do this program, I felt like people were actually listening to me and like understood, because I was like with other people like me, and we were talking about our like special like needs and if we have any, and we were talking about our experiences, and it was quite nice to know that I wasn't alone. You don't feel stupid when you ask a question. That's what I like about this program. I don't feel like an idiot when I come in not knowing anything. Like the fact that they did this perfectly, where we all felt included and we all felt like we belonged here, when some of us haven't felt like they belonged anywhere. We learned about how to help people with like mental health problems, and that's actually quite nice for me because I have like OCD, and we talked about how like we talked about how some movies and like some TV shows like glorify or like make it seem like people with mental illnesses like are a danger to themselves, are a danger to others, when really they're a danger more likely to themselves, and are more worried about people thinking that they're a danger to others. Today we did peer support training, and we were put into groups of two, and we were told scenarios, and we were given certain people to talk about. For example, I'm Jade and I've been bullied and it's affecting my sleep. What advice would you give her, and how would you show that you actually care? So we went and we talked to each other. We did like a scenario scene and we gave each other advice. But before then, we were taught about what to say and what not to say. Like, for example, you shouldn't go about diagnosing people. You're not a doctor, you're not qualified. And we talked about how there's like safeguarding, like there's confidentiality, but once you start talking about like big things like self-harming, suicide, and endangering yourself, that confidentiality is gone, and you talk to like the relevant people. Well, I think the peer education program is great for like people with like special needs, like special educational needs. Like the fact that they give you the time of day and they listen to you, and they even like give you some like certain advice. Even once you leave the program, the people are still there for you. They're sending you things like, if you're interested in filming, if you're interested in become like a writer, producer, or anything, they will help you no matter what. I didn't really have that many qualifications already from school because I struggled so much in it. So the fact that they taught us a lot and gave us like a self-esteem boost that we never had. In fact, we got qualifications whilst doing this like peer education program is like great for people like me, or just like people in general who struggled in their mainstream education and who have just wanted like someone to like help them individually or even with a group of people that they know that you'll relate to.
Hey guys, so hopefully that was a useful little insight um, into kind of, some of the motivations why young people get involved and what they get out of social action programs, co-production programs. So I was asked to speak a little bit about some obstacles and how we overcome that. And I think I've mentioned quite a few things already. So clearly, recruitment and retention is always the number one issue. It's always the biggest challenge, especially when you don't want to keep going back to that same youth board, the same ambassadors, constantly reeling out the same young people. We try to give young people the opportunity to take part in each of our programs once. And then if they want to get involved again, we try to either give them a more leading role within that project, or we encourage them to take on one of the other social action programs that we're doing. So being youth-led is one of the biggest sort of ways to kind of overcome those obstacles. So, you deliver the program in a fun way, knowing that the activities you offer are things the young people want to get involved with. It's not necessarily always about having to pay the young people. In fact, we try not to pay the young people. We try to do it in a way that what we deliver in the first place is something that young people want to get involved with. That's why they come. That's why they stay. But it's about whose agenda is it? If there's something in the offer that young people really want, we just need to pay them because they'll come. They'll vote with their feet. And if they come and they stay and we get the right sort of young people with the right lived experiences, we don't feel we need to pay the young people. If we want to get young people to take part in a meeting like today, there's nothing really in it for them in terms of fun or in terms of meeting other young people and having a great time, or even maybe the skills development, So clearly something like that we would pay young people. Sometimes we pay young people for part of the training. So, they might get involved in a social action project, shape the project. And if they, for example, decide, well, we want to become trainers, then maybe at the point when they're training other professionals, that's when we start paying them for their time. I've mentioned previous negative experiences young people have, and it's so important that when young people come, they feel validated. They'll feel recognized. They feel really good. They feel like, yeah, I'm an expert now. I've got lots to offer. All these experiences I've been through, I could do lots with that. That's really helped me. That's shaped me, and that's a realization that young people will often get from getting involved with these social action programs. I'm way out of time, so I'll move on. And the other key obstacles are, of course, the capacity of both the young people and the organisation, ourselves and partner organisations we work with. So in terms of the young people, clearly you've got to be work within the time frame. I said before, for us, what really works is trying to keep the projects not going on for too long, really try to keep it within the 12-week programs, have something regular. So, you know, every Tuesday at 5:30 or whatever, so there's some consistency there. But at the same time, being flexible. So for some young people, it means actually the project has to go on for longer, because you know it might take them a bit longer to plan, to learn, to do things. For some young people, it's actually the opposite. To get them involved, we need to deliver things much faster, or we'll lose them along the way. Or there might be opportunities for having some young people to be able to drop in and out of the program because their personal lifestyle or their issues are a bit hectic. And actually, to keep them on, we just have to have that flexibility. Within organizations, there is always a big challenge. Co-production is time and resource, and it's intensive. That means it's expensive. There is no cheap shortcut to it. You want something that's really designed by young people, led by young people, delivered young people. And we really think, by the way, delivery is so important. Don't just look, I think, at co-production in the sense of the ladder of participation, how much sort of power and control and influence the young people have. Yes, that is very important. That's at the heart of the matter. But also look at what opportunities there are for young people to deliver the program. What with each issue or topic or service, what opportunities are there for the young people to reach out to their peers, to reach out to the community, and really be part of the solution in that way. Organizational capacity, partnerships is one of the great ways we find to get around that. Team up with other organizations, share the resources, share the learning, and actually together, you know, all agencies often have the shared sort of willingness, desire to get young people more involved. Finally, organizational challenges are, while everybody here is super committed to getting young people more involved, people from larger organizations might still structure culturally or, you know, or within the organization to make that shift. Finally, we've got a sharing our learning offer. So we're very much about delivering directly ourselves in Camden and Westminster. But outside of that, we are available to share our learning, to train other organizations, to train staff, to help you kind of design your youth participation strategies. We've also got two specific offers. One is around sort of peer support and mentoring. We can do a trainer offer. It's a 2-day intensive program with your staff, and we'll help you, you know, design your own peer mentoring, peer support models within the setting and suitable to the setting and the young people that you work with. And finally, we run masterclasses regularly. So far, over 250 professionals have attended our masterclasses from over 150 different organizations. There's one coming up quite soon, actually, so we could probably help publicize that, followed up with a date. And they're on sort of 4 topics, and they've all been designed with young people, and we usually get young people to help go facilitate those as well. So that is the end of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Andre. I didn't watch that whole film all the way through, and what a brilliant film that is. I mean, why wouldn't we pour money into that? Incredible. Yeah, thank you so much. I know we're kind of at the end of time. We've got 2 minutes. Any questions or comments for or thoughts around this in our final moments? Okay, no, probably we're cutting it too close for questions, but thank you so much, everybody. And we will publicize another community of practice for just after Christmas. And if anybody's got any ideas on topics that are Thrive aligned, please do, or would like to present, please do let me know. Okay, take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.